Coming up on today's show, Car and Driver shows how pretty much any car on sale today with semi-autonomous driver assistance can be tricked into driving without someone at the wheel. Nikola gets awarded $2 million in US Department of Energy grant funds less than a month after the indictment of its founder, and Tesla's latest environmental report showcases how it can now recycle all of its battery pack materials to save 92% of the elements that make up new battery packs. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. I hope you and yours are well and following all of the guidance as COVID cases spike upwards again. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Stick around until the end of the show to find out how joining the EAA can help you finance your own clean energy or transportation purchase. Today's show is also sponsored by the Chicago Chesed Fund's 7th annual Tesla raffle. Watch until the end to find out how to enter and how to get $25 off 2 tickets. It's pretty standard practice in the automotive world for a new car to be on the market for about 4 years before it gets a refresh, known colloquially as the mid-cycle refresh. But BMW's iX3 electric SUV, a vehicle that's been on sale for less than a year in Europe, has just received its first refresh. And yes, that includes getting a bigger kidney grille, as has been BMW's trends for oh so long. In addition to the updated grille and new lights, a revised center console, and new infotainment screen. Sadly, there's no drivetrain or battery pack update, so this really is just cosmetic. So why the change so soon? Well, that's because BMW just did the mid-cycle refresh on its X3, the car that the iX3 is based on and which has been in production for much, much longer. We've seen plenty of video evidence over the last few years that it's pretty easy for the determined fool to trick Tesla's autopilot system into believing that there's someone sitting in the driver's seat with their hands on the wheel. But this week, Car and Driver released a report showing pretty much any semi-autonomous driver assistance system on the road today can be tricked into thinking that there's a person behind the wheel. Carrying out extensive testing on a closed track and a closed portion of public highway in order to test Cadillac's Super Cruise defeats, the magazine shows that while these systems all achieve the uncanny valley standard of driver impersonation, they all have their flaws. The hardest systems to trick, though, were Cadillac's Super Cruise and the auto-steer systems used by BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Polestar has made some significant tweaks to its Polestar 2 electric car for the 2022 model year, with improvements to range, in-car tech, and a lower price point. At the bottom end of the range is a new single-motor variant with a $45,900 MSRP before incentives or fees. Offering a 265-mile range, this new model is squarely in Model 3 territory, even if the Model 3 Standard Range Plus is a little more affordable. The Polestar long-range dual-motor variant, which also gets a modest range increase to 249 miles, starts from just under $50,000. Deliveries of both vehicles are expected to begin before the end of this year. Throughout this year, we've heard of plenty of tales of automakers being forced to push back vehicle launches and limit production due to constrained component supply. Despite controlling much of its own supply chain, Tesla is not immune to the chip shortages and, combined with super high demand for all of its models, has effectively sold out of all Model 3 Standard Range Plus models for this year. I say effectively because Tesla has just pushed back delivery estimates by 6 months, focusing instead on producing its Model 3 Performance and Model Y Performance models. This isn't the first time the easiest way into a new Tesla has been through its most expensive variants, but like it or loathe it, Tesla's response to the chip shortage is pretty much standard amongst all automakers right now. Troubled automotive startup Lordstown Motors, which is effectively under new management as investors scramble to save what remains of the business, has come up with a new game plan to make some money. While it's been telling us that it will begin deliveries of the Lordstown Endurance next month, a claim that most of us in the media are struggling to find credible, the company has now announced it's in serious discussions with several different companies about leasing out its production space, allowing other firms to build things alongside Lordstown on its production line. This would effectively make it the WeWork of manufacturing, but remember, Lordstown is seriously strapped for cash, and insiders I've spoken to suggest that its interim CEO's focus is on saving the company's assets and maybe getting ready for bankruptcy. Talking about companies we remain doubtful about, Nikola Motor announced it's received a $2 million grant from the US Department of Energy. Nikola says the money will help it develop refueling technologies for its planned range of hydrogen fuel cell trucks which were at the very heart of the federal charges against former CEO and founder Trevor Milton. With no trucks in production yet and very little to show for itself other than continued grandiose statements, we, like most of the media, are struggling to figure out why and how the DOE decided to go ahead with writing this check. That said, the DOE allegedly made the decision to give Nikola money 3 weeks before Milton's indictment. Nikola just decided to sit on the news a while. And yeah, I'm thinking what you are thinking. Tesla is well known for restricting its after-sales support and supercharger access for salvage vehicles. In fact, for many years, it even refused to sell parts to customers trying to repair such vehicles. But now, after denying supercharger access to rebuilt Teslas, it appears, based on anecdotal reports, that Tesla might have suddenly started allowing salvaged Teslas back on its network. Given that this is anecdotal, and Tesla hasn't yet said anything publicly yet, this could be just a software glitch, like the one in Europe earlier this year, that suddenly started to let non-Teslas use CCS chargers. So when we have more confirmation either way, we will let you know. Audi loves making concept cars, and in the past few years, we've seen plenty of them powered by all-electric drivetrains. And ahead of next month's IAA in Germany and the Monterey Car Week in California, Audi has just revealed its latest concept, the Audi Skysphere. Looking more like something that Batman would drive than anything else, the Skysphere is a mean-looking convertible roadster with lots of power. Audi's boss said the Skysphere is not a car, but an experience device. And we've got to agree, there is a lot to experience, from that massive digital grille to that very massive tail. Supposedly highlighting Audi's new design language, it promises a 4-second sprint time, but don't expect this to ever reach production. Like, ever. This week, as the US legislature has been struggling to pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill, there's been a lot of talk of so-called blue hydrogen, a method of generating hydrogen that captures excess carbon dioxide during its production. Yet a newly released scientific paper from researchers at Cornell and Stanford universities claim that blue hydrogen is anything but green, showcasing that the carbon capture technology used in blue hydrogen is responsible for generating 20% more greenhouse gas emissions than burning natural gas or coal. We've not had a chance to read the study in depth, but we are hoping to very soon, so do let us know below if you'd like us to make a video on it. Time to coincide with the IPCC's latest damning report on the effects of anthropogenic climate change on our lives and our planet, Tesla has published its own impact report. And while we're not going to go into the entire report in this video, again, if you'd like us to do a video on the report next week, please do let us know below. One really exciting piece of news stood out to us, namely that Tesla says it's now able to recycle 100% of all raw materials found in its battery packs, something it says means that it can reduce its mining requirements by 92% when building new battery packs. Of course, right now, I'm guessing it is producing more batteries than it's recycling, but it certainly shows that Tesla's closed-loop manufacturing goals are achievable long-term. And now, it's time for Short Shorts. Ford's weather facility, where it punishes cars to determine how they'll survive tough conditions, has been showcasing how its robot, quote-unquote, drivers are used to operate driver controls during extreme testing, sparing humans from a seriously unpleasant and arduous task. An arbiter has awarded a black former employee of Tesla a $1 million settlement after ruling the company didn't take adequate action to stop his supervisors from calling him the N-word, among other offences. A study ranking how long it takes for a used car to sell found out that the top 3 fastest-selling used cars in the US in July were all electric vehicles, with the Tesla Model 3, Chevy Bolt EV, and Tesla Model S taking gold, silver, and bronze, respectively. A Republican-introduced amendment to the Senate's EV incentive program would limit tax credits to cars with an MSRP of less than $40,000 and to buyers with less than $100,000 of yearly income. We love unique and beautiful electrified transport here at the channel, and we don't think it comes more unique and beautiful than this, a gorgeous wood-framed e-bike designed with sustainability in mind and made by woodworker EVB. Sign us up. European automaker Renault and Chinese automaker Geely Holding Group have signed a memorandum of understanding that would see Renault hybrid vehicles introduced into the Chinese market. Documents show EV truck startup Rivian is looking at Texas for the site of its next big production facility, though the company says that its states in multiple sites are under consideration. Texas is, though, known for having less red tape than some others in the union. In response to this, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who knows a thing or two about getting an EV startup into series production, commented on Twitter that Rivian is considering building a Texas factory, that it should instead focus on getting its production facility running that it already has, before it builds another one. Ouch. Solar Taxi, a Ghanaian e-mobility company that seeks to help the country electrify itself, has opened its first battery laboratory in the city of Kumasi. It hopes the facility will help it develop battery cells for both converted electric vehicles as well as future EV models. In an effort to help it raise more funds to bring its Ocean electric SUV to market, Fisker has announced the sale of $600 million worth of green convertible senior notes. These are a quick way for companies with low credit scores to raise extra capital by selling company debt. Cadillac has delivered the first of its newest high-performance Blackwing sedans. But these Blackwings will be the last new petrol-powered sedans to be introduced by the automaker, since all new Cadillac sedan models from then on will be electric. Reports indicate that the Volkswagen ID.2, which will likely debut in 2025 or thereabouts, will be yet another SUV, probably a compact one. For those of us who had hoped the ID.2 would be a replacement for the e-up, this is sad news. Japanese battery manufacturer Panasonic, which provides batteries for both Tesla and other automakers, has reported a 29% year-on-year increase in sales, posting $0.69 billion worth of profit and beating market expectations. Meanwhile, South Korean battery manufacturer Samsung SDI also saw increased sales and profits in the last quarter. It recorded a quarterly revenue that was up 30% year-on-year, and its net profit margin now sits at 8.6%. Scooter battery swapping specialist Gogoro Network has just added its 400,000th subscriber to the service and reports over 200 million battery swaps have been made to date. Xpeng has shown a video of its upcoming P5 electric sedan navigating city streets autonomously using its own autonomous drive tech. The P5 is the first mass-market EV equipped with LiDAR, dramatically increasing its autonomous capabilities. With huge EV pickup trucks becoming all the rage, Nissan is reportedly looking at the idea of producing a more compact EV pickup offering. Though a production vehicle would be many years away if it was green-lit, we really want that Nissan Leaf pickup from a decade ago. A study out of the University of Washington has found an association between exposure to fine particulate pollution, such as you'd find from car tailpipes, with an increased risk of developing dementia. It proves that reducing greenhouse gas emissions isn't just about global warming. Legendary designer Paul Smith has partnered with Mini to produce the Mini Strip, a custom one-off version of the Mini Cooper SE electric hatch that highlights sustainability with unique aesthetics that we think will appeal to many Mini fans. In the wake of a dire climate change report from the IPCC, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has ever so slightly softened his negative stance on electric vehicles, slightly backtracking his claim that EVs would end people's weekends. He's still not a climate crusader, though. Meanwhile, Andrew Constance, the Transport Minister in Australian state of New South Wales, wants the federal government to buy EVs for its own fleet to help drive down the cost of EVs. Given who the PM is, I think he has a struggle ahead. Lightning E-Motors and Forest River Incorporated have partnered to produce a delivery 7,500 all-electric shuttle buses over the next 5 years, with seating capacities of between 12 and 35 riders and wheelchair accessibility. Mercedes has launched the configuration and opening order books for European buyers of its EQS luxury electric sedan. Prices start at the equivalent of about $100,000, but that number does quickly go up as you add more desirable options. LG Energy Solutions has launched a battery innovation contest open to the public. Winning institutions will receive $150,000 a year to pursue their research. Maybe someone will design a battery for LG that doesn't catch fire. Automaker NIO is planning to launch a new, more affordable brand designed to compete in the market with companies like Volkswagen, as opposed to the more high-end segment that NIO cars currently are in, that compete with brands such as Audi and BMW. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. But before we get to our final two stories, a note from one of our sponsors. How would you like to win a Tesla of your choice or $50,000 in cash? Well, if you're a US resident, now's your chance thanks to the 7th annual Chicago Chesed Fund Tesla Raffle. This charity offers more than 80 programs to help Chicago families survive through tough times, deal with medical bills, fund education, start a family, get back on their feet, and train for new careers, to name a few. And its 44,000 square foot warehouse has helped more than 2,400 families stay fed alone in the last year. To support the charity, its annual Tesla Raffle gives you the chance to win a Tesla Model S, 3, X, Y, or Cybertruck, or in fact $50,000 cash with each ticket costing $100. But as with previous years, we have teamed up with the raffle to offer you a $25 discount of 2 tickets, letting you buy 2 tickets for $175 instead of $200. To enter and for more information, head to ccfraffle.com and enter Transport Evolved at the checkout for your discount. There are a limited number of tickets available, and the draw is taking place in just over a week's time on August 26th. So if you want to take part, you'd best get a move on. Ford, like every other automaker out there, is suffering as the ongoing chip shortage seriously hampers parts availability for its new vehicles. While it's managed to get to this point without having any problems with the production of the Mustang Mach-E, the company has now announced some significant delays will impact Mach-E production for the future. Customers who've ordered their cars between July 5th and October 1st will see a 6-week delivery delay for their new vehicles. To compensate for the inconvenience, Ford says that it will be providing affected owners with an additional 250 kilowatt hours of complimentary charging on its Ford Blue Oval charge network, which basically translates to any of the partner charging networks Ford works with. Let's hope for all automakers that this shortage gets cleared up pretty soon. And finally, the Kia Soul EV has always been sold as a fun, funky vehicle. I mean, it had giant fluffy hamsters advertising it at launch, which, I'm not going to lie, meant that I kind of fell in love with its boxy design. While the second generation Soul EV was far less nerdy and more mature in its design, it didn't actually get sold in the US, although Canada, Europe and parts of Asia got it. And now one of Kia's pre-production second generation Soul EVs has been given a makeover to coincide with the Boardmasters 2021 Surfing and Music Festival in the UK. Called the Soul EV Boardmasters Edition, it's been given a lift kit, new decals and chunkier tyres to handle life on the sand. Oh, and a surf rack and lights, of course. I think it's stunning, and honestly, I think it'd sell. What about you? And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EAA can help you find somewhere near to you that can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator and point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a new clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EAA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.com. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell, and doing the same to our 2 other channels as well. That's Transport Evolved Take 2 and Transport Evolved Shorts. We'd also love you to support us through Patreon or Ko-fi if you're so inclined. And don't forget that you can also buy your own TE swag on our Redbubble store. The link is below. And if you're feeling chatty, do drop by our free-to-join Discord chat room. I, or someone else from the team, will be back soon with more video goodness. But until then, thanks for joining me. Stay safe and keep evolving.